Welcome to the prompt. Our blessing is great, and I'm here to inspire you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today I'm here with
Your girl Helen. Hi.
Hello, hello.
You guys, the prompt is the next thing. If you're not on, get on, okay?
That wasn't for like my show. That was for Smooth Talk. I met Ice Prince. That time Ice Prince was big and is doing big things. I was excited and he was so cool and I enjoyed interviewing him. That's huge. I don't take that for granted.
Yeah. No, even me, like I'm humbled to have you here, truly. And
Yeah.
let's talk about, you said you're now becoming a private person because everything that you do, say, or who you work with and found this is on social media now. So could you please expand on that?
Yeah. I try to not put my husband and my daughter too out there because sometimes people can be so negative about me and I just don't want it to touch them. It's better, it's me who is doing the job that's putting me in front of the camera, and I'd rather it ends here because if somebody's going to be talking about my daughter, I won't take that lightly. I don't want them to start talking about like my husband. He's very laid back, he likes being in the background, but so I try to not put them too much. People know them, people know my husband, but I just don't want. I've always been like, I think even way back, I've always been a person who tries to not bring my relationships to social media because I feel like it doesn't involve them. It's about me and the person that I'm with. Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, but now it seems like it's worse now because I feel like Facebook especially has become very toxic. So I'd rather just do other things there, work and just joke and just live my private life out.
Yeah, so you talked about working with your husband, how you were a little bit hesitant in the beginning, because you just got married, and tell us about what led you to that, and oh.
Yeah, so when I started shooting my show, I wasn't shooting with ZMBC. I was shooting with another production house. So we worked together. Then suddenly we're going to shoot an episode. Then they tell me this is the last episode we're shooting with you. Then I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this is the last episode. It's not like this is the end of my season. Then she said, no, because of they had issues, in-house issues. They kind of had to close down the production house, but they didn't warn me. And I wasn't going to tell my boss at work and tell them, look, my show has come to an end because I don't have anyone to shoot for me. So that time we had just gotten married with my husband and I didn't want to we didn't know how it would be like to work together. So we didn't want it to come between us. So now I had no choice because who was I going to call on gunpoint and say, look, I need somebody to shoot my show. I just went home and I told him, look, this is what happened. And starting next week, I think I'll need your help. So he laughed and he laughed at me first and says, are you sure about what you're saying? I'm like, yeah, I don't have a choice. We have to somehow make it work. And so that's how we started working together. At first, I would just go and Nedo, whenever he's editing, I want to see him like, can't you do that? That doesn't look right. Then they will tell me, can you chill? Just sit. I'll call you when you're supposed to look at this. Then you'll be able to see what you will be able to tell me what I need to change. And that's how, but we've grown to know each other's strengths and we respect each other's strengths. We come in when when we're supposed to. If we're not supposed to, we step back. And that's how we've managed to work together for so many years.
All right, no, that's good. So I've also seen you work with different companies and brands. How has that been? Like, how has been the conversations gone? Like,
that has been good. It's been good, when they approach me, it's much easier than when you're approaching a company. I don't think there's a company that I've approached like work with me properly, good marketer. And so the ones that approach me and my manager handles the business talk. I just know how to appear and do the job. They just fill me in. If there's the contract, I have to look at the contract, and if I agree with the terms, the terms that they want me to work on, then we're good.
okay, all right. So, we're almost coming to an end. So tell us moving forward, what are you planning to do?
You know, I dream big, and sometimes I feel like I even scare myself.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
feel scare myself because I just feel like my vision is huge, and I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it, but I just know I have to do something about it. And so we're working towards like maybe improving the show, growing the brand. So we're putting all that together. Certain projects that I'll be jumping on, which I can't announce now, but they'll be announced sooner or later. So just watch out on my social media platforms. But that's what we are trying to. We have the show. People have kind of accepted the show. So what next? So we're trying to think on how we can make it more interesting and maybe make it bigger. So that's that.
Okay, so could you tell the people, like, to the youth or anybody who's trying to follow their dreams but they're hesitant, and also can you tell us where we can reach you?
Okay, so when firstly, most of us, and I think that's the problem that I see in my country, where all obviously the government has a role to play, but we shouldn't all rely on the government. I don't think the government has the capacity to employ everyone in the country. So, so you have to think outside the box. If maybe looking for employment is not happening, and sometimes it's frustrating if you're applying and nobody's calling you. You just check yourself and say, what do I want to do? What am I able to do? And you need to be frank with yourself. You need to know your strengths and you need to know your weaknesses. Work on your strengths. If you can grow the strengths, if your weaknesses can't really push you, some weaknesses can be worked on, but if something that can't be worked on, just leave it. Work on something that will benefit you, something that will feed you, something that will help you grow. So we need to, not just because I want to do it, even if I can't do it, I have to embarrass myself and do it. Do something that you love. Don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid to take the next step. People discourage. People literally laughed at me. Some people were laughed at me, were laughing at me for leaving work. Like, she's going to suffer. But I knew what I wanted, and it's important to know what you want. People always talk, but if you know what you want and you're taking the right step towards it, ask people, get advice. There's people that it can be in your field. It may not necessarily be journalism, it may be accounts, it may be law. Ask the people that have been there in the business. I still get advice from people that have been there in the game way longer than me, and I respect that advice because you need it. So let's just say, work hard, learn every day, take the right steps towards your dream, and don't even give up. Don't be discouraged. The hurdles are there. There's always hurdles on the way. So you don't have to be discouraged, because I don't think there's any field that will not give you challenges. So you just have to make sure you face the challenges, cry, wipe your tears, and wake up and move on and keep fighting. So where can they find me on social media? Instagram, Helen_Zulu, Facebook, Helen Zulu Piri, YouTube, Helen Zulu. Yeah.
All right.
Those are my social media.
Thank you once again for coming. And for anyone who wants to be on the prompt, shout me out. Or if you want to contact Helen, DM her. She's very friendly. Thank you.